Pokemon Legends Arceus is by far the most fun I've had playing a Pokemon game in years. For better and for worse, it's a complete reimagining of the Pokemon formula that was set in stone back in 1996. There are a few rough edges at this first attempt, but if it's only going to get better and improved upon from here, Pokemon Legends is a good blueprint and foundation for what I hope will be the new series standard moving forward. Despite being filled with brand new mechanics that feel like a thing of the future for the series, Pokemon Legends Arceus actually takes place a few hundred years before the previous mainline games. You find yourself in the Hisui region, a distant land that years from now will eventually become the Sinnoh region from Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. You're a new visitor in the Jubilife village, a predecessor to what will become modern-day Jubilife City. The entire setting is inspired by the Meiji period, so you'll see a lot of traditional Japanese fashion and architecture mixed in with European industrial technology, like these newly designed Pokeballs. Likewise, you see a lot of modern series staples change, like having to craft your Pokeballs using resources found in the wild rather than just always conveniently buying them. The change in time period helps lead to exploring a more wild looking area without sights of what we're so used to seeing in a Pokemon game like a metropolitan area. It's refreshing, especially on the story side that focuses on the upbringing of the Sinnoh region and the barely flourishing relationship between humanity and Pokemon. People are still getting used to the idea of living with Pokemon, and the thought of befriending them as life partners is completely astonishing to most. It's an interesting story that I'm happy to see differentiates itself from what the series has traditionally done, although it certainly takes some time to truly get to a satisfying point. Unlike in other Pokemon games, your main quest here is helping to create the very first Pokedex, following a storyline that instead pushes you to complete the post-game content for a total of 50 to 60 hours. Longtime Pokemon fans are in for an awakening with Pokemon Legends Arceus. Practically every long well-established series mechanic has been revamped or modified for a more action RPG approach to the series. In many ways, it's the first attempt at what fans have always requested from the future of the Pokemon series, and now that it's here, it's quite the sight to behold. Starting off your adventure, you're quickly recruited into the Jubilife Village research group, early scientists studying the nature of Pokemon. That sets you on your path to help establish the very first Pokedex. What was once a handy little PDA device, now just a journal with your notes. Gone is the traditional defeat the gym leaders to enter the Pokemon League storyline, and now you're just actually supposed to catch them all, and what that means is also completely different now. You see, it's not just enough to catch or fight a Pokemon, instead different Pokemon have different objectives. Their entry may require to catch that Pokemon multiple times, see it use a specific move, or even just catch multiple varieties of that same Pokemon. The fact that these objectives change between different Pokemon helps keep things fresh, and that's needed as you'll be catching lots and lots of Pokemon. There's a total of 242 Pokemon to collect, including some legendaries and some other Pokemon from various previous or I guess technically future generations. As you capture, battle, and defeat other Pokemon, you're constantly being rewarded for it too, so every little action feels like it's going towards something greater, whether it's a Pokedex entry or leveling up the Pokemon in your party. That XP and leveling system also changes dramatically here. Catching Pokemon earns you XP, battles raise your XP, and as you level Pokemon up, they'll earn moves right away. However, at pretty much any point in the game, if you pull up your party, you can change up their moves on the fly or even just evolve them en masse if they're at the right level. It might rub some competitive Pokemon players in the wrong way, but I found a lot of these changes to feel freeing. Juxtaposed to that are the changes in the battle system that feel clever and yet also more challenging than prior games. Perhaps the biggest change is the drop in Pokemon abilities. That's no longer a factor here. Instead, you're just focusing on movesets and the new Agile and Strong style mechanic. Certain moves now have the ability to be used in either one of these styles that are reminiscent of the Bravely Default RPG system. A review of that game is also on the channel if you want to go check it out. If you choose Agile, your attack gets weakened, but the trade-off is that it comes out faster. If you choose Strong style, your attack gets stronger, but the speed takes such a hit to the point that if your enemy is fast enough, they can attack you twice before you even attack once. You can take a look at the order of attacks at the top right of the screen to balance out your choices, but this new layer of strategy makes wild encounters a lot more interesting and fun. The challenge ultimately comes from balancing out these new changes and attacks feeling like they do a lot more damage now. Aside from that, a lot of the training wheels that the series has been known for are just gone here. You can immediately find a level 30 Pokemon upon starting the game, and you will get destroyed if you try to battle it. These powerful Pokemon come in the form of an Alpha Pokemon, a larger than normal Pokemon that has the glowing red eyes. They feel like mini boss fights that are entertaining challenges in between catching new Pokemon. On top of that, there are actual boss fights with larger Pokemon. These are curated sequences that follow the ongoing main story. However, they're a bit different than other battles. These Pokemon first need to battle you as a trainer as you throw pouches at them that weaken them. It's only then that you can instigate a Pokemon battle and try to take them down. It almost feels like an incredibly lightweight Dark Souls game, where you're just rolling around and attacking whenever you can. Overall, the gameplay formula is repetitive, but even so many hours into it at this point, I didn't grow tired of it. Exploring the admittedly blank world for the most part was still fun because exploring meant new Pokemon, and just a slight chance of seeing something new was exciting. Even with its flawed mechanics, this is no doubt the direction change that the series needed to make, and it's by far the most fun I've had with Pokemon in years. When it comes to presentation, Pokemon Legends Arceus starts to show its rough edges, and unfortunately, a lot of the attention to detail in the mechanics were lost when it came to the graphical fidelity. Now don't get me wrong, I know what the Switch can handle, and my bar isn't that high for this title, which should go to show how rough it actually is. In regards to the art style, Legends Arceus looks similar to Breath of the Wild, only a lot less populated. There are fewer trees, grass, and just environmental elements that help the world feel like a lush and lived-in world. Of course, there's still Pokemon wandering around, which is truly a sight to behold, even after getting watered down iterations in Sword and Shield, but just seeing various types of Pokemon walk around, sleep, and just interact always put a smile on my face. Unfortunately, the environment just doesn't hit the same mark. There's a lot of popping in the environment with trees and grasses appearing, different assets flicker in and out at times, and it's most annoying with grass during Pokemon battles. The view distance on objectives looks horrible with distant Pokemon running at what looks like a sub 10 frames per second. There's just a lot to nitpick here when it comes to the visual design, but at the same time it didn't ultimately bother me that much. Instead, that would be the design of the world itself and the lack of incentive to truly explore it. It feels vastly reminiscent to the design in Halo Infinite, and rather the lack of incentive to explore it too. Legends Arceus does have its moments though. It arguably has one of the best looking skyboxes in any Switch game. Performance is also shockingly solid with a mostly 30 frames per second mark. There is the occasional dip in frame rate, more often in docked and handheld mode, but nothing bad enough to leave a bad lasting impression. As far as resolution goes, you can expect a dynamic resolution of 1080p in dock mode and a dynamic 720p in portable mode. While it isn't the sharpest looking game, it doesn't get as soft as some other AAA games like Doom or The Witcher 3. As you might expect, a lot of the music you'll find in Legends Arceus mixes classic Pokemon themes with a more period-based instrumental for a Meiji period theme across the soundtrack. There are plenty of flutes over what would have been an electric keyboard in other iterations of Pokemon. They're used well to evoke a heightened sense of panic or importance, whether it's a Pokemon taking notice of you as you sneak up to them or a boss battle with a larger-than-life opponent. As far as sound design goes, there's a nice attention to detail across the various terrains to help craft this living world filled with all kinds of Pokemon. Especially now that catching a Pokemon can mean rushing after them, sneaking up to them in the grass, or just throwing a Pokeball from afar. A lot of the new sound effects tied to these actions help sell the new mechanics all the more. Even with all the upgrades across mechanics, visuals, and story, I was a bit disappointed to see that there wasn't any voice acting here. Perhaps we'll see it eventually, but especially now with the changes in the storyline, I would have loved to see some sort of voice acting, at least for the non-playable characters that are integral to the story. Pokemon Legends Arceus is a genuinely fun game and a good blueprint for where the series should go. While I enjoyed my time with it and would recommend you try it out, especially if you're a Pokemon fan, it's not flawless and there's plenty of room for improvement. The world design could be vastly more enticing with areas that reward you for exploring and a better presentation overall, even for Switch standards. The story, though enjoyable and refreshing, felt a bit disjointed being split between the main game and the post-game with some bloated mission objectives in the later half. With all that said, I'd be remiss if I didn't say just how much I enjoyed catching Pokemon and seeing this new take on the series. Even 60 hours in, it hasn't lost its appeal despite some repetition in the allure of the new catching mechanics. I can only hope the series gets to improve upon these new mechanics from here on out.